Declan Rice has already shown the world why Arsenal paid over 100 million quid for his services. His all-action midfield display against Crystal Palace perfectly encapsulated why Mikel Arteta broke the bank to land his man. Let's take a closer look at his qualities. Firstly, I believe it's important to try and understand Declan's role a bit better. While some might categorize him as the lone six, I prefer not to look at it that way because, as you can see here, Thomas Partey is inverting from right back into midfield, and Arsenal are actually building up in a 3-2 shape, which means we have 3 defenders and 2 midfielders. And this is somewhat similar to last season as well, where you obviously had Thomas Partey playing the role that Declan is right here, and he had the support of Zinchenko, who would invert from the left back spot. So I think the only difference here right now is that we're actually using Partey as the right back who's inverting from that side, and Declan is playing more towards the left hand side. So it's really interesting to see how we build up, and also how different players are in different zones depending on where we are building up from. More on that in a bit. But the general gist of it is that Declan is not all alone in build up. He actually has a lot of support around him, as you can see from the 3 central defenders, but also Thomas Partey, who helps him by inverting. Over here you see that Declan Rice has actually dropped deeper, and this is because Tomiyasu, who's not in the frame, has actually ventured forward. You can see Kai Havertz as well, another really intelligent player, recognizing this shift in shape, and he drops deeper as well, where Declan would have originally been, and Declan drops further back to cover for Tomiyasu. And this is something that happened through the game, these rotations, these positional rotations. And according to positional play, obviously one player should cover for another player when they vacate their position. And what makes Declan such an interesting player is his adaptability to a number of different positions across the pitch. And he's obviously played as a centre back before in his youth days, and at one point he was even pipped to become a top centre back. So he was really comfortable doing this, dropping into that centre back role, receiving the ball, playing it out from the back, and this was great to watch. And this happened right through the game. It was a small detail. People would probably say that he's just doing a 5-yard pass, but that movement and that intelligence to be where he is, I think, was overlooked, and I think Arteta especially would be really impressed by that. Declan also showed a lot of confidence on the ball in terms of his passing and how he helped us in building out. He was happy to receive the ball directly from Ramsdale, and as you can see here, he also did so under some decent Palace pressure. Over here, he placed the ball first time to Saliba, and immediately after playing the pass, he recognizes that there is space ahead to run into. And what I really liked, first of all, was Saliba also recognizing that Declan Rice was going to make that run. So the run was made, Saliba picked him out, and again, first time, Declan Rice played a really nice ball to Thomas Partey. What I like as well with Rice is that he keeps it quite simple, but he doesn't dwell on the ball. A lot of his passes are one touch. He gives it really quickly, and I think this helps Arsenal beat the opposition press in a better way, because when you release the ball quickly, the opposition has less time to react, and I think Rice, the way he positions himself, enables him to do that as well. So this was something that was really nice to see. Declan also showed that he could play a variety of passes. When he had to, he would play passes with his weaker left foot. He also played his trademark outside of the right foot pass on a couple of occasions, which was great to see. And it was also great to see Declan dispelling this myth that he cannot pass forwards. Like, I have no idea where that came from, but honestly, that was such a myth, and it was great to see him put that to bed. Over here you can see Tomiyasu playing it to him in a tight space. He turns away and plays a lovely pass to Martinelli, almost like a toe-poke pass, and Martinelli has a lot of space to run into. He was also really precise with his diagonals, including this one to Martinelli, which landed perfectly in his boot. And he also showed that he's not just the passer. I really found this bit of play interesting here, where he recognizes that there's some space to run into. He shows really nice adventure here. Odegaard finds him and he plays a lovely pass to Nketiah, who honestly should have scored. And I thought Declan was really unlucky not to have an assist here. But he just goes to show you that he's not just a guy who will pass, but he can also make these runs forward and then find the pass after that. So he's not just this guy who's going to help you build up. He's so much more than that, and his athleticism and his energy to go up and down the pitch makes him such a unique weapon that Arsenal have. Like, I cannot name a player in world football that can actually do what Declan is doing. From the 6th role, do build up, then go forward, then defend. It's exceptional. It's totally testament to the qualities that he has. In addition to passing the ball well, Declan has also shown that he can break a press by also carrying the ball. His ball carrying is so underrated. He has really good close control and he just drives forward with the ball using his frame, powering his way through the opposition defense. And you saw this on a few occasions against Palace too, where he picks up the ball. He realizes that maybe passing is not the best option. So it's like, hey, let me carry the ball forward. And on a couple of occasions, he did that really well. 1 free kicks for Arsenal. And towards the end of the match, helped us relieving pressure as well by carrying the ball into the space. Because when we were defending the lead, obviously we had like these counter-attacking opportunities. And I thought Rice relieved pressure very well by carrying the ball out from the back and keeping things simple. So that was really underrated aspect, I thought, to his game. Lastly, we need to speak about Declan off the ball. Now, I know we all knew that he's going to be really good defensively. We've seen it at West Ham, we've seen it at England, but he nonetheless really impressed me with how good he was from a defensive point of view. Now, what I really like about Declan is that he knows when to sit and when to press. In this instance, Sheikh Doucouré is receiving the ball and Declan immediately recognizes that it's a potential pressing opportunity. He shows his swiftness and acceleration to actually press Doucouré, who's totally put off by Declan. He didn't expect Declan to get there so fast because he got there in a couple of seconds, and that totally put off that Palace attack. And we saw it again when Jordan Ayew won the ball back and was set for a counter attack, but Rice was like, nah, I'm having none of that. Straight slide tackle, wins the ball back, and Arsenal once again have possession in Palace's half. And this is something that Arteta will particularly enjoy because we're always trying to improve the way we counter press, and having a guy like Declan in the middle of the pitch who is essentially a duel winning monster who will win more duels than he will lose is going to be a real asset for Arsenal over the course of the season. So that was again great to see. Off the ball, Declan is really disciplined, and this is how he typically is off the ball. But you also saw another dimension to his game once Jorginho came on, when we had basically one attacker on the pitch in Havertz and we needed maybe a bit more help in terms of pressing from the front. Rice played a slightly more advanced role and helped us actually press from the front. And this again shows you his adaptability, because he's not a pure 6 or someone like this. You give him a role, he will do it really well. And I think the best way to describe Rice is a player who is an 8 to 9 out of 10 in every single area of the pitch. He's a player that can add value in every phase. And I think this performance against Palace was a total midfield masterclass, a domination, as Mikel Arteta called it. And he rightly got the Man of the Match award. I'm sure this is the first of many to come from him, and he has more levels to his game, 100%. But I think this was nonetheless really encouraging and gave us all a flavor of what Declan Rice is about and what's to come. On that note, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or gained anything from it, I'd highly appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel. It'll really help us grow and help us also produce even better content going forward for you guys. So thank you very much once again. Have a great day and weekend, and see you soon.